Hello everybody, how you guys doing today? Hope everybody's doing well. I'm out here in good old Maryland. It's a little snowy out there. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe it'll adjust, I don't know. But just snowed, so a little chilly out. So I'm gonna make a quick video for you guys, try to make this short, sweet, to the point. Real quick, we're gonna get that large softbox out the way, but real quick, I wanna go over my John boat setup here of some do's and don'ts. When you guys are building your John boat, things I want to definitely point out that possibly help you guys out, little tips, things, little tactics, things like that that can help you in the long run. That you want to have already implemented in your building process and not have to worry about it later on. So like I said, just a few do's and don'ts. So let's get to it. So real quick, just a disclaimer: the tips I'm going to say in this video are my do's and don'ts. Not saying that's the only way you have to go about building your John boat. Okay, these are just some things that I've experienced in my last almost 3 years now with my boat. Like I said, I want to definitely point out some things that you guys want to take care of before you even get through the building process, so you don't have to worry about redoing things or customizing later on. So yeah, let's get after it. All right, guys. So this is a quick glance at my John boat. If you guys have not been following on my channel, built this boat almost 3 years ago, and I have an entire playlist of exactly what I did in my whole build process, from the foot control recessed tray. Building my hatches, adding struts to them, rod locker over there, I can't reach it, kind of short, whatever. The whole shebang, electronics, all of that. And I'll leave that up over here in the corner. I'll leave a link to that playlist so you guys can check it out. So yeah, that's a quick little look at my, like I said, John boat here. And I have a live well that it's a external or a portable live well. It's in my truck right now, whatever. But I put a live well here during tournament time. Otherwise, I like my leg space. I believe this boat, well, I know it's 14 foot, but the beam is like 6 foot almost. I have a measuring tape. All right, that's yeah. You guys see that? 6 foot. Oh yeah, it's a pretty wide boat. All right, and just a little light show for literally. I do have like I said, I ran electric. So real quick. Like I said, I want to run through a couple things that, like I said, I want to make sure you guys are sure to do on your builds. These are the list of do's, or things to make sure you do on your build. And again, like I said, a little disclaimer: I'm not saying it's the only way you need to do it, but like I said, it's worked for me in my last 3 years having my boat. It's been working out just fine. So I think one of the first most important things to make sure you do is to support your boat with adequate framing. I guess when I say that, I'm talking about where you're going to be standing majority of the time. Majority of my time, I'm standing up, up my deck. Fishing, of course, right? Or if you have a buddy who's, fishing, a co-angler, things like that, or you're fishing with a friend, period. They might be standing back here in the back, or they might be standing up here with you. But what I'm saying is, do not slack on your framing, okay? I chose my post here, all my thicker post. Well, I call them thicker, but these are 1/8 inch thick. All the ones that are mainly up here in my support area. That back one is just the seat itself. I can see that. But yeah, that's just the actual seat that came with the boat. But no, like I said, I made sure my support in this area was top notch, the best I could. I'm 6'4", 230 pounds. So I wanted to make sure that if I'm standing up here, even with another person, they were going to be just fine. That's number one, is your framing and your support that you choose. Do not lax on it. Okay, you don't want to go through your deck with using 1/8 inch plywood or something right here. I'm using 1/2 inch. I used 1/2 inch to build this. Actually, some extra stuff up over there, but whatever. But yeah, I used 1/2 inch sheet of plywood. I think I used 2 of them altogether. But now I'll actually make a video through a whole breakdown of how much it costs to build my boat, period. Or just how much it costs to build up a John boat into a bass boat, period. We'll get to that another time. So yes, like I said, safety first, man. You want to make sure that your boat is nice and sturdy. Even over here by my rod locker area, sometimes I step on the boat and I step onto that area, but it's all supported, like I said, through using angled aluminum. Some of my thicker pieces, like I said, are 1/8 inch. Some of the slimmer ones, like on the top of my hatches, things like those, are 16th inch thickness. But again, I'll go through a whole different video of exactly how I built my boat and what it costs to do so. But otherwise, one of the top things I can recommend is your safety and your framing has to be 100. Thing number 2, always test and make sure that whatever you're fitting in for your permanent fit, like I said, these are what I consider permanent fits going into your framing. Always test them. Always test these things as you're doing your build. So let's say I literally stood on, and I think I got a little video clip of that too, but I literally stood on my framing here when it was unsupported, even without this piece here, just to see how sturdy that angled aluminum was. And like I said, you want to make sure something like that is crazy sturdy, because you don't want any accidents. Okay, so I literally stood on that before I even put a piece under it. So I knew once I added the piece under it to support that area, I knew it was going to be even stronger. So the next thing I want to talk about, and I want to make sure things that you guys want to make sure that you do, is understanding where your power source and where you're going to be having your power travel through, and how you make it travel. Understand your layout of your wiring. You want to get that out the way as soon as you're done your framing. You want to wire next. That's the process I did. I think it's a lot easier to do instead of having other things built up and possibly in the way. So through this box here, I actually have a void area back behind this, and I can actually take that off if I ever had any issues. That little screw right there. Yeah, that little screw right there. Yeah, I can take this panel off and go behind into this void. This is where all my electronics are, like all the power. Well, I'm sorry, all the hookups are, my bus bars, my fuse box, things like that. That's where it's all at. So I can literally go in there and fix anything I need to, just in case anything, tripped or anything like that. But all my wiring was ran through, came across my rod locker up into the storage area right there, and then across to the next storage area. I thought I was, plenty enough lighting to light my entire boat for what I needed it for. I mean, later on, again, things can get a lot better as far as lighting. You can add more lighting later on, but just for the basics of what I needed, that's about all I have. The only other wiring that I have set up right now is for my emergency light set. When you're traveling out in low light situations, I got your stern all around white light and the bow green and red light. So understand your wiring, understand where you're going to run it. You want to make sure that you got that squared away before you even continue on with the build. Like I said, that was the second thing I did after my framing. I didn't want to deal with that later on when you have more stuff in the way. But definitely always make sure that, like I said, that's a very simple thing for me. If I flip open that one panel down over here, I flip it at one panel, like I said, if I had a wire trip or anything like that, or something cut off that I didn't want to cut off, because I have my electronics run through that. But if anything cut off, it's easy to get to, especially if you're out on the water. I literally take off that one screw and I can access everything. So it looks like a hot mess back there, but it's accessible. That's the main point. Now, real quick, as far as safety, you want to make sure your safety equipment, when I say safety equipment, I know this looks like a mess, but if I had a fire on my boat, right there, it's my fire extinguisher.
Perfect timing. I think my loaf of bread is just about done.
They actually have the support piece that holds this to the boat. They actually have it back there where I actually keep my gas. I don't get that. Why would there? I mean, that's 9 times out of 10 where a fire would occur. I'm going to move that support piece that holds the fire extinguisher itself. But make sure your safety stuff is easily accessible. As soon as I open this, it's the first thing in front. And back in here, I know that might not be as easy, but it's a little cubby right there. Oh no, my light's falling. Yeah, this is 3 years of neglect of putting my stuff up correctly. When I say correctly, support it correctly. And this is me being lazy, and I just like fishing, right? Same thing with that little piece there. So that one more piece, which is actually back over there. We're getting off topic. I'm sorry. That piece, that's going there. It's going to be my last piece of my boat to actually finish building the boat. But sorry, safety. Fire extinguisher easy to get to, and I do have a first aid kit in that little cubby right there, like literally on the front ledge of that cubby. But yeah, safety, man. Safety is very important. You want to make sure you plan out, where you're going to have your safety devices if you had to save someone in your life jackets, things like that. Make sure your power is not going to cause any sparks near your gas tank or anything like that. Okay, so safety is very, very important. Another thing I do want to point out is, you guys, make sure you plan for your storage, man. Like, if you know that you want to run, a rod locker or something like that. I can see my tubes back there. But if you know you want to run a rod locker or you're a person that has a bunch of beats, make sure you plan for storage. I don't know if you can see it right now. That little white mark right there. This is actually a dish rack. I think I got it from like Walmart for like a couple, like $5 or something like that. But make sure you plan out your storage areas of what what you're gonna have. I know we always add on things. You see, I got a lot of stuff in here myself. I would make sure that you have more space than what you think you need, instead of not have enough space. That's probably the worst feeling. Because once you get it all done, you're like, oh man, I wish I had a place to put this, place to put that. Plan out your storage, even if it's like little things back here, bro, where you drive at, or if you want to put some guys have those. It's like a Velcro strap thing. I forgot what it's called. Put it down in the comment section below. But it Velcros to the wall, and it's a pouch that you can store certain quick things that you want to grab, keys, phone, you name it. Plan out your storage always. So I highly recommend you guys get a Transom Saver. So you see, I don't know if everyone else's skeg runs this low, but mine runs really low to the ground. That Transom Saver there kicks that thing up pretty high. Saves my transom as well, of course, right? Transom Saver. Definitely want to get one of those. Okay, you don't want to accidentally crack this thing and have major issues. The next thing you know, you got water leaking in your boat. Didn't even, don't know how or why. Because some people are driving around with a good sized motor or whatever and don't realize that they could be damaging their transom. The last thing I'm going to point out for things that you guys want to make sure you do or plan out. I don't know if you can see this gap here. That gap is on purpose. Okay, this gap right here. I call it as a ventilation gap. Okay, that's what I call it, I guess. And that's what I built it out for. And also my boat's a little different than some people. Some guys' boats go straight from the top and finish at the building their deck. They finish back here in the second seat. I'm fine with this little step up here. Haven't had any issues. Not a tripping hazard for me. I have not tripped on it. It allows for ventilation. Ventilation for your baits. Ventilation is actually key for any things that get wet that you store inside your little storage compartment area. I'm also up here by my foot control trolling motor. There's ventilation area there. So that's key. And when I get home, I always take my rods out of my rod locker, changing things out. So that's fine. But if you kept it outside or wherever you store it, you want to make sure you have some type of ventilation. Okay, some guys install vents, especially into the rod lockers, but ventilation is very key. All right, guys. So now a few don'ts, things that you want to definitely avoid and not mess up like I did. I don't think I messed up too bad. Boat still works. It floats. All right. So one thing I do see on a lot of people's boats that you definitely want to avoid, if you can help it, if you haven't already got through this process, have already done that part of it. So what I'm talking about is hatches. A lot of boats that I've seen, don't get me wrong, boats look great. Don't get me wrong, they look absolutely amazing. But some of the guys that I see have hatches in places or in a direction, is what I'm trying to get at, that isn't so great. I've heard of hatches like flying off while people are driving, driving home. You get home, you're missing 2, 3 hatches. I don't know if you see my hatches up front. They open this direction open up towards the bow of the boat. In turn, well, that's the only one that opens up sideways, but I haven't had any issues. What I'm trying to say is that people that install hatches that open up this way towards the stern of the boat, those are the ones that when you're driving, 70 miles per hour down the highway, or maybe a little mile, depends on, be safe out there, of course, whatever. You're driving fast down the highway and you hit a bump or something like that, hit, part of a bridge that bumps up a little bit, and you open up one of those hatches in the wrong direction. That thing is going to catch all of wind and be sent towards whoever's back that way. Okay? Be mindful of things like that, man. Especially like I said, when it comes to your hatches, how you want them to be. I know it looks cool and all that kind of stuff, man. Don't get me wrong. I think a lot of boats that I've seen look great, but I have heard horror stories of guys having hatches sitting in this direction, coming back up towards the stern. And like I said, while they're driving, hatch flies off, catches wind, and takes flight. So you don't want to be that guy, or girl, okay? Because I guarantee there's a few ladies out there who have some great builds and probably better than mine, okay? Make sure your hatches are good and secure in the first place. let alone I would recommend you not having the hatches in the wrong direction that could possibly catch wind and fly off. If you do have hatches like that, at least have hatches that have the actual locks that you can literally lock into place. Your hatches can actually have a latch that locks it down into place. That's one thing that you can do, especially like you see some of the bass boats, some of the nice, beautiful bass boats. Those guys will have hatches that you have to actually spin the top of it to open it. Same thing with closing it, lock it back down into place. So that's something that you can do. Of course, it takes a little more planning of where you're going to put your latch at to secure it. But that's just an alternative. Otherwise, I'll make all my, as you see, my hatches are facing the opposite direction. Just so when the wind comes down this direction towards my boat, I have no issues. And again, I haven't had any issues with the side wind where my rod locker's at. Everything's been straight. So another thing I think you guys, definitely want to avoid is overcomplicating the build. Okay, as my dad said a long time ago, he said it to us. A man must know his limitations. I'm not saying to be a quitter. Not saying that you should just give up on things, but a man must know his limitations. So you take those words as you wish. In this sense, when I'm talking about overcomplicating a build, if you want to have 17 different compartments with lights going through everywhere, and that's not part of your skill set, okay? I'm not saying it's part of mine, but I feel like I have like one of the simplest boats in the world. Just my personal opinion. But understand, things that you're capable of doing, because you don't want to make costly mistakes. You don't want to make permanent mistakes. Trying to, drill into the side of the boat and let's say you messed up and you don't know how to patch it, things like that. You don't want to get into a situation that could be harmful or dangerous to you or people that you ride with. So definitely don't try to choose a build design that's going to be crazy complicated. You don't want to do it. Might be costly. So some of the best boat builds I've seen, one guy on Instagram named Sham for Real. I'll put that either up here or down below in the comment section. I'll put all the channels and Instagrams that I'm talking about or that I'm about to say. But Sham for Real is one of them. Top Gun John Boat, Fire Ant Fishing, and of course I feel one of the first people I've seen was Tiny Boat Nation. And I'll put his YouTube, like I said, all the channels, YouTube channels as well as Instagrams down below. But those are some of the top builds that I've seen, when I was in the process of building my boat. And when I say top builds, lights, hatches, you name it, the works, man. Electronics, bilge pumps, live wheels built in, the works, man. And of course, the designs are crazy good. Okay, so definitely check those out down below. Yeah, but all those guys are great guys, man. If you want to check them out, like I said, links will be down below. One more thing that you shouldn't do not go too cheap on material. I don't want to hear any bad stories about you guys, getting hurt, things like that, things flying off your boat because they're not secured properly. A lot of stuff I used was, definitely waterproof or marine grade, exterior screws and some of my stuff. I waterproofed the wood, the works. I tried to, like I said, make things secure, safe as possible. Again, I can't put enough emphasis on it. Do not slack on material or how you're supporting yourself wherever you're standing or how you build your boat. Because at the end of the day, your life depends on it, as well as others who are, whoever else is on your boat at the same time. Or if you lend the boat out, whoever's on the boat, life depends on it. Okay, you want to make sure you guys are safe. Last thing, guys. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you. Never, ever, 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 ever put a catfish in your boat. Okay, you see that? Oh, you see that down there? All my paint's gone. It's jacked up. Okay, I messed around. It messed around. Caught a catfish with a friend of mine. We ended up keeping it because want to take home, make a little catfish nugget sandwich, you name it. But I didn't have a live well at the time, and I literally just tossed it in the back of my boat. Not a good idea. Bunch of slime everywhere. I had to clean it out. Messed up the back of my boat, man. It was just bad. So I got to repaint that section. Good old spray paint would do the job. Okay. But I know that was a joke. Yes, it really happened, but just be careful what you put in your boat. Or the material you use. That's a good one. Don't forget about that too. This is exterior carpet here. Some guys, I think it's called like sea deck or something like that. There's a couple different materials out there for the top of your deck. Understand that whatever color you choose, things like that, it will get dirty if you fish how I fish. Okay, I fish a lot. If you want to go out there and just cruise around and have a good time chilling on a boat, cool. It might not get that bad. I hop off the boat, go use the restroom. I don't know, I freaking mud ramps, you name it. my boat gets dirty. So outdoor carpet does me just fine. Ladies and gentlemen, please, by all means, let me know if I missed anything. Let me know in the comment section below. Add it on. You never know who you can help out. But like I said, for sure, definitely let me know if I missed anything. I know I probably did miss five to seven different things that you want to watch out for or make sure that you don't do when you have your boat built. But other than that, that's it for me. I think I've covered all my bases of my build. Like I said, it's a super basic build of me. I got 2 hatches up front, nice little rod locker inside, and we are good to go. Please give this video a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate the support. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time. You guys take care.